I go to bed normally.
Okay, and you normally wake up what at 7, 6:30,
Mm-hmm.
7? Okay.
At 7.
Yeah, it is important to sleep well. That's one of the most important things, and I don't think people give much importance to that. To that, because, for example, in companies, oh, you need to work, you need to deliver your 100%, you need to do this and that, but they don't tell you you need to sleep and rest well, right?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was reading that for your health, one of the most important habits is sleeping well. And I didn't sleep well when I was young, which was a terrible mistake. But now I'm starting to try to sleep better, trying to sleep at least 7:30 or 8 hours.
Yeah, I think that is necessary because sometimes when you don't sleep well during the day, you feel tired, you feel without energy, and I think that that's a consequence of don't sleep well.
Right, that's true. Well, there is a topic associated with development, human development that we were studying yesterday. That is very interesting, and I wanted to share that with you. And that is the concept of organizational behavior. What do you think of this organizational behavior and management? First of all, what is organizational behavior and why is that important? Why do we separate the work? The division of work is so important. What's your opinion about organizational behavior, Chuy? Mickey, I'm sorry. Chuy is a friend that
Um,
I have on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's a very smart guy, but he's retired already. So,
all right.
Mickey, what do you think about this organizational behavior?
Organizational behavior. Um, I think that it is important because in organizations, normally they have like rules or could be manners too, and each organization probably have a different mindset or a different way of thinking, and I think that it is important to feel part of the organizational behavior depending of the organization where you are in.
Yes, exactly, exactly. For this, important factors can be your motivation, correct? Job satisfaction. What is
Yeah,
your perception and the decision making, right? So let's say
yeah.
motivation.
I think
Yes,
that sorry, organizational behavior um, help us to try to uh, improve the interaction with others and at the same time interacting with the organization itself too.
exactly, exactly. To to interact, I think that you need motivation, right? People, some people arrive to work with a lot of energy, a lot of drive, a lot of ambition, a lot of ideas. Obviously, because they find the job satisfying, they find the job interesting, rewarding, non routinary, or at least it doesn't get bored or boring,
Mhm.
right? So, that is an important component of this comment that you mentioned, right? It's very true what you say. You interact with the company in a way that should provide job satisfaction. So, well, okay, thank you, Mickey. In addition to the individual behavior, there is also a different dynamics, which is the group behavior. What can you say about this, Mickey?
Group behavior.
Yeah, what is the different? How is group behavior distinct from individual behavior? What happens when you refer to group behavior? Which are the characteristics?
Mm, I think that the main difference between a group behavior and an organizational behavior is that um, group behavior are more influenced by the different thugs and the well into the behaviors or others in the group.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Also, that there are normally group norms, right? There
Yeah.
is the concept of cohesion, and obviously the natural conflict that influence productivity and performance, right? These all influence productivity and performance, which is an objective of a company. Normally, they want to have productivity and good performance. I'm sorry here. So, well, how do you maintain or stimulate cohesion in a group, Mickey? Why do you want to have or develop cohesion? Why is that positive?
Mm, could you repeat the question, teacher?
Yes, of course. Why do you want to maintain or establish cohesion in your group? Let's
Mm-hmm.
say that you develop a big company
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to have Pepe fighting with Johnny and Johnny arguing all the time with Lupita, Lupita uh, having disputes with Laurita and this and that, right? You don't want to have conflict in your group. You want to maintain stability, cohesion, the sense of unity in the team. Why? Why is that?
Because I think that when you have cohesion in your group, the people could feel well. The people who is part of the group could feel more uh, attached to that, and at the same time, for example, if this group is an organization or in this group is a it's a company, I think that when people feel part of it, obviously, in consequence, people's gonna be more. Mm, how can I say this? More. Mm, I forgot the word, but more motivated
More motivated.
to reach the goals that the company or the organization have.
Yeah, that is totally true. Right. Do you remember any situation in which the group of your school was very tied together, that you felt that you were part of it, they were all part of the group, that there was this sense of solidarity, of community, of strength, and maybe in a different class or in a different group it was the total opposite? Do you have this memory? Maybe one group
Yeah,
in yes. What
yeah.
was your sensation?
Well, it feels completely different when one with the other. But I remember in when I was in preparatory,
Yes,
uh, in my how's it bachelor, my
bachelor. Yes,
bachelor. Normally in the bachelor there was test of everything, and we as group always were studying for the text for the test depending of the difficulty. But there in that group was like an union, because we knew that the test will be hard or will be more more challenging, and we as group joined to try to all group understand what we're gonna see in the test. And and for example in my university I didn't feel that. I feel that uh, all the members of the group were focused on different things, and you didn't feel like attached or part of it when each member is focusing on different things.
Okay. Yeah, they probably were pursuing different interests, different
Hmm.
ideas, different goals, and
Yeah.
yeah, they more or less dismember, right? And then you don't feel this as you sense this feeling of cohesion, this feeling of a bond or a union that you are tied together, right? And that creates a distinct response in the group and in people, right? And for that reason, it is very important that the um, teacher, the manager, the director, the owner establishes or tries to instill this leadership and management. Um, what do you, how do you see this trait, this quality that some people have, this ability to put the people together, to organize them, to lead them, and motivate them? How do you see this quality, Mickey?
Well, I think that it's an important a skill and quality because sometimes it is is difficult to influencing people, but when you have like this um, ability to do it, it's something great because uh, I think that it is there is a big difference between a leader and a boss, for example, in an organization. And I think that the main difference is that leader normally influence people, but with the example, with the example that okay, we're gonna do this, but if you see, I'm doing it too. I'm not just giving you orders. And I think that it is important that in actuality we must have more leaders than bosses or than people who just order. I think that it's important to keep a balance and try to motivate our organization with example.
That is very important what you're saying. Then we come to the leadership styles. And for that, not every leader is the same.
Hmm.
Let's think of different leaders. For example, we have Bill Gates, we have Elon Musk, we have various leaders with different styles, which is natural, right? So, which would you think are different leadership styles? How would different leaders be in terms of their style of handling an organization? How do you think they would behave, or how distinct would they be in terms of this? What have you seen
Hmm.
in this area in
I
terms?
remember that I have a class about it, and it was about the class. I think is called uh, organizational development.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I think that there was. I remember this name because it was different than the others, and it was laissez faire or
Laissez faire, laissez faire.
laissez faire.
Let be, or let things go by themselves, right?
Yeah, and I remember that this type of leadership is like I'll give you the confidence to do it, and you can do it as you want it, but you need to do it, and I give you the confidence that you're free to do it. The other one was mm, democratic. Um, I think that I remember that in that class they taught us that a good leadership must have all these different types, trying to to have all these different types of leadership. And I remember that was another about called transformational
Transformation. Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Right.
Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there were all these. There was one which was called the autocratic. Autocratic. This is gonna be like this. No argument, no discussion. Like this. Period. Right. Which is
Mm-hmm.
always not the best because it doesn't give the sense of growth or the sensation of achievement, right? to various people. So they establish different leaderships, and one of them also is a charismatic leadership, which many people really
Yeah.
enjoy, right? The charismatic and the bureaucratic leadership also, and the paternalistic leadership. Let's talk a little bit about this and how we maybe we are evolving, we are making an evolution, we are migrating from one style to the next one. But which people have you seen with the different leaderships, Mickey? That you say, oh, I have a friend, or one of my math teacher was like this, my or people in movies, or people that you have seen. What type of leaderships have you seen in these different people? For example, the autocratic leadership.
Well, I've seen that type of leadership more in, how is it, elementary school.
Elementary school, okay.
Yeah, because obviously you are more more rebel. You want to do a lot of things, and I think that it's normal that in that age they give you like just orders that you need to do this, and that's all.
That's all right. Yeah. Also, there are some organizations and some situations in which you need autocratic leaders. Imagine in a case of war. Oh, the enemy is invading us. Okay, well, let's discuss among all of us what's the best course of action. Okay, let's sit down, let's make a round table, and let's decide what is the
Yeah.
best solution
Hmm.
for. Oh, you cannot do that, right? You need to make decisions quickly, with decisive action that is needed, and you can stifle creativity and teamwork. You need to foster action immediately, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so there is no action for argument or thinking. You need to respond quickly. There is an emergency. Okay, everyone need to evacuate quickly. Go this way. You don't. Okay, what exit should we take? Let's discuss it in France,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
right? So depending on the situation,
Hmm.
uh, you develop this type of leadership, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go for the second type of leadership, which is the democratic leadership. What does it involve, and what happens in the morale and engagement of the members, Mickey?
Mm, I think that in democratic leadership, uh, the leader has the final decision, but the group could vote or could give their ideas, and I think that it's like the that example that you mentioned, that for example there is a round table and they are giving their opinions, but at the end, depending of the votes or depending of the majority, they're gonna define the solution.
Right. What is the advantage in terms of feelings for the members? Do you believe that they will feel valued and empowered, or more valued and empowered than with the autocratic leadership?
Yeah, I think that one pro would be that encouraged the employees, and obviously it helps them to achieve more confidence in themselves. And so yeah, I think that it's it is always important to try to manage this style too.
Right, exactly. The one that you mentioned a while ago, which is called the laissez-faire, laissez-faire, it provides considerable autonomy, right? And you offer minimal direct supervision. You almost don't supervise them. You let them work by themselves.
Yeah.
Um, what is a positive effect of this?
Mm, well, I think that they have freedom to make decisions,
Mhm, yes.
and and obviously when they have like this freedom, probably they have more confidence too, because uh, all group members are expected to solve a specific problem by their own.
Yes. And
Mm,
it can
mhm.
also foster the creativity, right?
Yeah.
You are more creative because you have more freedom.
Hmm.
Okay. What can be a field in which you would have this type of leadership? Do you think this would be suitable or a good idea to implement, for example, in research groups, in people who are looking for a vaccine, in people, in researchers that are looking for a new development, for a new product, for new ideas, that you give them some freedom for them to create something new? What do you think about that, Mickey?
I think that um, this type of leadership will be better in, for example, I don't know, artistic topics, or in things that requires a lot of creativity. Because, for example, as you mentioned, we're not gonna have like this type of leadership in a line when you get a vaccine. Is you have orders, you need to do this, you need to do that, and that's all. And if you don't have like this, in this case, I think that it's autocratic leadership will be a disaster, because everyone is doing what they wanted, and I think that that will be a problem. So I think that this license fighter will be more in artistic things, or in things that requires creativity.
Right, exactly. Exactly. That is very, very important, Mickey. Thank you. A problem can be in coordination and accountability because if you have a team which is not so experienced, a team that is less experienced, they
Hmm.
can probably lose focus. Now they are thinking of something totally out of reach, right? Or is extremely expensive as a development, or is extremely impractical, or is simply totally different from the original idea. So maybe a way to participate in the laissez-faire leadership and group, I'm sorry, is to maintain them focused on what you want to achieve as a group, right? Okay, yeah, a flying object is nice, but remember that we're trying to develop an airplane, not a helicopter. So
Yeah.
be creative, but
Yeah.
don't lose focus. It's an airplane, it's not a helicopter.
Hmm.
Maybe, okay, that's maybe the caution, the precaution that we need to take, right? How about these other leaderships or leaders, the transformational leadership, Mickey? When they inspire and motivate their team, they instill high standards. What is characteristic about this transformational leadership, Mickey?
mm, I think that the characteristics of transformational leadership are that they focus too not only on the results of the company. In this case, they focus too on the employees or the members of the group, because in a way they try to influencing them to try to reach a better version of themselves. I don't know if I said correctly, but
Yes, totally.
I think that will be uh, the main focus of a transformational leader. And a part of that, always they try to inspiring others, and yeah, and try to inspire them to reach not only the goals of the company, try to reach a better version of the employees or the members of the group.
Exactly, exactly. Who of these people would you consider to have been transformational leaders? We have, for example, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, Mahatma Gandhi. Do you think they belong to this category, or one of them or some of them do not belong to this group? What do you think of them?
Well, yeah, I think that in that time, the those people were trying to influencing people and make the people uh, transform the idea of the people and try to encourage them to do a specific thing or to try to makes them more confident about themselves. And well, for example, Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela tried to encourage them to do different things and don't feel and don't just be um, what's that word, punishment, or try to feel,
Yeah.
try to feel liberated.
Right, exactly, exactly. What is something that, well, I was thinking about these people, and sometimes it doesn't come at a low cost. Sometimes the cost is pretty high. Let's have a look at least some of these people. Some of these people say Martin Luther King. What was his outcome? Well, he was assassinated, right?
Yeah,
What happened with Nelson Mandela? Well, he was imprisoned unfairly, if you will, for 27 years. Uh, what happened with Steve Jobs? Well, he was depleted from his authority and his company, right? He was actually fired from his original company. Is that not true? I think.
yeah.
Um, I think. Well, in the case of Walt Disney, it had a nice ending, right? A happy ending in the story, right? I think he lived happily until the end of his days, from what I know. I don't know his
Hmm.
life, but I think he had a happy ending, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And what about Mahatma Gandhi?
Mm, he was. I don't remember. He was assassinated now, right?
I don't remember. Let's see. Let me look up. But
Oh yeah, he was
ah,
assassinated.
he was assassinated. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So look, from four people, five people: Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, and Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi ended up being killed, same as Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
Nelson Mandela was imprisoned. Of course, Steve Jobs, he was sacked from his company. He eventually created a new one. Or what happened with Steve Jobs, Mickey? Remember
could you repeat, teacher? I couldn't hear you.
what happened? What happened with Steve Jobs?
He's died or about what?
Yeah, how did he die?
Cancer, I think so.
He died out of cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, and then Walt Disney, I think he had a happy ending, and Gandhi was killed. So what I mean by this is these transformational leaders are very uh, innovative in the way they lead a company, but sometimes the cost can be can be high because you go against the tides, against the current, you go against the trend, right? This is what people think, right? And people have a line, right? People go in this direction. Suddenly, one person says, "Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go in the opposite direction."
Yeah,
That can create animosity or a conflict or mistrust. So that can be, I don't want to say the word dangerous, but at least a little bit of conflict because then you say, no, the earth is not flat, the earth is round. And they will say, what? You're kidding us. That's absolutely false. And you know what happened with Copernicus, right? And same thing.
yeah, the same.
So when you decide to go against the culture or to establish something innovative, well, sometimes it can bring a great reward, like in the case of Walt Disney. but sometimes it can lead to people to oppose to your ideas in general. So being innovative sometimes has a cost. That's what I guess I wanted to say. All right.
Unfortunately, but yes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, then we have the other leader, which is the transactional leadership. The transactional leader, they focus on achieving specific goals, right? Through clear roles and responsibilities and rules. What do you think of this leader, Mickey? He wants to have specific goals, clear roles. You are the production manager, you are the quality manager, you are the purchasing manager. What do you think of this?
Mm, I think that uh, transactional leaders are just focusing on the goals of the company. Uh, I remember that this type of leadership normally use rewards and punishments
Punishment,
too. Yeah,
punishment, yes, yes.
for motivate people.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Why is that effective? Why you would say, well, this type of leadership is effective in this specific type of situation? What situations?
Mm, I think that, for example, that could be.
You need a goal completed in little time. So maybe that would be the case, right? Where this is needed. Okay, there is this project that we need to finish in the next 2 weeks, right? So you kind of have an urgency, right? So maybe in short-term goals, this would be ideal, don't you think?
Yeah, for example, when you have like the pressure of time, you need to achieve something specific, something in specific. I think that the transactional leadership will be a good leadership to follow.
Yeah. Let's think of examples, something that you wanted to achieve in short term. Maybe you are building a stadium, right? Because they're going to be the Olympic Games, but then the other leaders were working with the laissez-faire, right? Do it
Mhm.
if you want. And now the time has become very tight, and you don't have too much time to finish the stadium for the Olympic Games. So they say, well, no, we need another type of leader. So thank you, Pepe. We want to hire Poncho, right? Hey, Poncho, you have this type of leadership, right? This transactional leadership. We need to finish the stadium in 2 months, no more than that. So that's a short-term goal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So what would he establish as rules, regulations, indications, norms? What would he say? How would he behave?
When someone establishes rules or how.
Yeah, exactly. What type of rules would he establish? What would he say to his team to finish a stadium in 2 months, which is half completed, right? It should have a completion of 80%. However, it's only 50%. So you're under pressure to complete a stadium because you're going to have the Olympic Games and you need to complete it. So
I don't know. For example, probably I'm exaggerating, but if you complete the stadium in 2 months, I'll give you a reward of 20% of the salary that we're paying you now. But if
okay,
you don't, you are fired.
there you go. So you establish a reward or a punishment. If they comply, you reward them, and if they don't, if they fail, you punish them, right? Well, they are under pressure. Okay. We have another one, which is the servant leadership. Servant leadership. What does it tell you? What does the word tell you? Servant leader.
Mm, servant leadership. I don't remember uh, so much
What?
about that leadership, but with the name, I could imagine that. Uh, could be about the service, you
Yeah,
know.
they like to serve the team, right?
Mm-hmm. That.
They help them grow and succeed, give them all they need. Well, I'm not working well because I don't have the training skills. Okay, here is a training course. Well, I'm not very motivated because I had a dispute with my neighbor. He wanted America to win and I wanted Chivas to win, and we had an
Mhm.
argument. Oh, don't worry, let me give you emotional support.
Yeah.
And I am a little bit tired because I overspent my savings in a vacation. I don't have, oh, here I give you a loan, right? I
Mhm.
lend you some money for 2 weeks. So they give you all kind of support, which is not bad. Maybe I'm making a little bit of moke of joke, but in reality, it's good that they also work their members in every aspect possible, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I think that, as I told you, it is necessary to a little try to have all the different uh,
Skills.
skills or different leadership styles because depending on the situation, you're gonna use one or other. So, for example, the servant leadership, I think that it's good. Obviously, as all the different leadership styles have limitations. But for example, I think that it's important sometimes listen instead of speak. So I think that will be a good consequence of this type of leadership.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Very often it's better to just listen than speak. In what cases would it be advisable to listen to your people than speaking to them?
I don't know. For example, in a company, let's imagine that we didn't reach the goal that we had, but we are giving all the fault to the employees, and the problem was that the machine it wasn't working, and that's why we couldn't complete the goal of the company. I think that it's important sometimes to listen and not just guilt someone to do or not do something.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Total sense, Mickey. Well, and then we have, let's talk about one more person, one more leader, which is the charismatic leadership. And this person will be inspirational. He will be able to motivate others. They have this personal magnetism and vision, and they have a loyal crowd, loyal followers. Charismatic leaders. Let's think of charismatic leaders. Who would be charismatic leaders that you know, Mickey?
Mm, could be John F. Kennedy.
JFK, absolutely, yeah. He had this charm, this trustworthiness, right? People like them very much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, absolutely. There was this president or prime minister of Britain, Winston Churchill.
Hmm.
He was extremely respected and liked by society. Why was Churchill so appreciated by society?
For the charisma that he had.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He had a good oratory. Um, he had many good traits, positive traits. For example, he was a very good leader during the World War II. Um, he had these inspiring speeches, right? And he was able to convince the Allies to unite against Nazism, right? So he was really, really a good speaker and very eloquent, right? So Churchill was another person who who was very appreciated and respected. Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, let's continue talking about organizational behavior, Mickey, not to get too away from the main topic. So, uh, besides leadership and management, there is what is called the organizational culture. What is the culture of a company? What do you think is the culture of a company? What is that thing? Organizational culture. What is that?
Uh, yeah, I remembered a little bit of this topic too. I think that
Yeah.
are the beliefs that the company have, the values, the the attitudes too, and obviously the organization try to have this organizational culture to influence in the employees or the people or the members of the group.
Yes, absolutely. Who would normally establish the values and the beliefs? Who would say these are the values? We believe in these. These are the norms, right? Who establishes that? And do they have an evolution or do they remain the same forever?
Mm, well, I imagine that who established that are the top members of the group, probably the CEO or the founder or the owner. And I think that an cultural organization must be not always the same because the word is not the same. For example, until 10 years ago that now, and I think that we need to sometimes update our beliefs or update or way of thinking too.
Right. Let's say that your company, Mickey, that you have some values, you believe in something, right? You
Hmm.
say, this is what I believe. What would that be? If you started to have more people to help you, you started to grow as a company or as an organization, you may want to remain small, right? You may want to say, well, it's going to be me and two or three salesmen or assistants, and that's it. I don't want to, because maybe that depends on the strategy and the vision, right? Or maybe you want to expand. Maybe you want to establish a new site here, a new site there, or a new product line. You want to grow in different ways. Let's suppose it's just a supposition. Maybe you wanted to establish some values, some beliefs, and some norms. What would they be? What would you say? These are the values of my company. If you were to say that, what would they be?
Mm, respect,
Respect. Okay, that's important. Very important. Respect,
um, equality,
quality. All right.
mm, could be mm, integrity too,
Integrity. Well, that's a beautiful word. Integrity,
trust,
trust,
curiosity.
curiosity. How would your people express their curiosity? How would they perform to show that they have this curiosity, this avidity to learn? How would it be?
I think that when you give the freedom to the members of your group express their ideas, express their uh, yeah, their ideas. For example, uh, one brand that I admire is Nike,
Oh,
and Nike is always trying to innovate in different cases. And for example, we know that Nike sells shoes at the beginning, but then he started selling clothes. He started selling other type of shoes. He started selling basketball shoes, and it was because they give the freedom to have this curiosity of people of the members and say why we don't do this or why we don't do that, and it works for them.
Okay, that's very nice. Nike is a company you admire for that reason.
Yeah.
That's incredibly nice. Well, how about beliefs? If you were to say my slogan or our slogan is this, what would the slogan be, or what do you believe? Can you say we believe in this? We believe in what?
Mm, it could be that we believe mm, in trying to make a better world, or trying to make an impact in world in a positive way. I don't know, for example, what will be a good case? Well, Apple says that that they believe in creativity, and that they believe that technology is a tool that makes things easier to people, and that's their belief, and that's why they say that they're uh, innovative, and that they are creative too.
Correct, yes. So you want to create a positive impact in the world.
Yeah.
You want to make a better world. Okay, very nice, very nice. And the issue sometimes is how. How do you make the world be better, right? And obviously there are many ways, and I know that you have your strategy, your vision. That's your vision, right? How do you make the world be better? How do you achieve that, Mickey?
Mm, in a company, how a work could be, how can make the world better?
Yeah, yeah, you want to create an impact in the world through
Hmm.
your company. So how would you do that? How would you make a better world?
Could be, hmm, for example, the companies who sell clothes, who sell that it's called fast fashion. H&M, Zara, and all those stores. They could impose the rule of the three R's, because sometimes there are a lot of clothes that they don't use, and the quality is not good enough, and that's why they always launching new models, new clothes, because they know that the clothes that they make are not clothes of quality, and they're always going to be different colors, different models, different seasons too. For example, if I'm part of that company, I would impose the rule of the three R's. That, for example, if this cloth is not working, how is it, longer for you, or it's not?
Right? They are wearing out soon. They
Uh-huh.
are wearing out.
There's gonna be people who gonna need it, or who gonna need that sweater, that whatever. Uh, I think that will be a positive impact to the world, because the quantity of clothes that they're making, it's incredible, and a lot of clothes are just uh, putting in the trash, and you buy another, and I think that that's the problem.
Right? For disposal, right? They are disposable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is a problem for footwear, for clothes, for many items that you buy, right? They become disposable. You wear them once or twice, and that's it. They're ready to be disposed of, and that is a serious problem.
Yeah.
uh, it's unfortunate, but it's very true, right? Well, it is very nice that you are trying to create an impact by focusing on quality products that are lasting. They last. Is not just for disposal, right? All right. Well, this has to do with organizational culture, which is important. Besides the culture, or in addition to the culture, you have the the structure of your company or organization, right? It can be very vertical. We saw that once, like the church, the Catholic Church is very vertical. They have some positive aspects. The military, the government, they are very vertical. And automobile car companies, they have very lean organizations. Which is the difference and the advantages for one and the other, Mickey? When you talk about organizational structure, how are they distinct?
Mm, well, as you mentioned, for example, the Catholic Church, they are so vertical, and they have made those rules and those ways of uh, manage an organization in that way for years. And I think that it is not always something good, because as as we talked the other day, the world is always changing, and you cannot be just like this for because you believe that that's the correct way. And I think that that's why the Catholic Church have a declive in the people who is part of the church, because they don't feel part of it for all those radical or vertical ideas. And in comparison with an organization that is more lean, I think that it's easier to people feel part of it, because they are more accessible. They have uh, more access to different people, and I think that sometimes it's good to be a little bit lean in case of of an organization.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Above all, the decisions take forever in a Catholic, not in the Catholic Church, but in the military church, in the military, in the government, in very vertical organizations, decisions take forever. They are very bureaucratic. Yeah,
Definitely.
they try not to make mistakes. They try to be overly solid, not to make dramatic errors, not to have a wavy soil that moves, right? That you are in chaos. No, it's not. It's on the contrary, are very extremely solid, because every decision is supervised by a supervisor, and the supervisor has another supervisor, and the supervisor of the supervisor. So it's incredibly uh, strong on the one hand, but on the other hand, it's like an elephant. It's very slow, it's very strong, very powerful. It basically, yeah, has no room for mistakes, right? But it's very slow. You implement, for example, I think it was my dad or my grandma who told me that changing the position of the priest, the father who was giving mass,
Hmm.
facing the altar that was in the 1920s or 30s,
Uh-huh.
to
Yeah.
turn around and give the mass facing the audience, the public.
Hmm.
That decision was taken in one of the councils, the Trento Council, I think. Well, it was implemented 40 years later. So the decision was given, let's say, in 1920. Well, we decide that we are going to move the Pope from facing the altar to facing the audience, the people. Now the Father is not going to give Mass, giving the back to the people, but giving the face. All right, perfect. Decided, yes, excellent. The implementation took 40 years. Imagine just moving
Yeah.
the Pope, the Father around.
Better. Hmm.
Yeah, so that took forever. So yeah, they're very solid. Like the military is solid, the government is solid, but it's extremely slow. So when you say lean manufacturing, lean organizations, why are they so good, Mickey? You say, well, if so effective. I mean, not good, so effective. Why are they so effective?
Because they are more accessible, and because probably if someone don't agree with their culture, with their mm, way of thinking of the company, there could be something that makes this person feel like, but well, this company have these good things. Probably I'm not agree with those, but this company are more. is more lean in this case, and I think that it's better because it's easier to people to feel part of an organization or of a company.
Right. In what type of companies have you seen this besides the car industry?
Uh, what could be?
Maybe the electronics industry,
Yeah,
where they have new, yes, right?
yeah, it could be, I don't know, Huawei or those brands that, for example, in their advertisements, they put people of all colors, of all different races, of all different way of thinking too. That I don't remember. I think that there's an advertisement of Apple, and it shows the iPhone in different parts of the world, in China, in Saudi Arabia. What is it?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, in Latin America and United States, and it's like you are part of it without notice it because all people have Apple, and all people is like sup- supposing within the advertisement that all people is joined for using the cell phone.
Right. Yeah, that is true. That is true. So, well, the organizational structure has a big impact in the company, right? How it is organized. And now that you mentioned this diversity of people, where you have Black people, Hispanics, where you have people from Caucasians, you have all types of people, not only one race, but in a workplace diversity. Uh, why is that so effective, actually so necessary? And now more and more is being regulated by the government, in which you allow or you promote this workplace diversity, Mickey? Why is that so crucial?
Because in the past it wasn't in that way. Because probably in the past, well, in the United States, the black race always been discriminated, and when you as a company try to impose that, no, we are in this company, we are the same, we're working for the same goal and whatever. I think that people could feel part of it, most for the minorities is called correctly.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I
Very
think
nice,
so.
Mickey. Very good. Well, basically, we covered the topic of one semester class in 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. I remember, and I saw all those topics. We are good.
Yeah, well, you know all the answers. That makes it easy, right? You have the understanding. Right. Actually, they say that it's very easy to work with great students. Difficult students, that's the problem. That's the challenge, right? Okay, Mickey.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we meet again on Monday, right?
Yes, teacher. We covered the three classes this week. I don't remember.
I think we did, or didn't we? Yeah, Thursday. I mean,
Thursday.
no,
Well,
we had.
we had class
I'm
yesterday.
sorry, no, today is Thursday.
Today is Friday. No, but we had class yesterday, right? Yeah,
Had
because I
class
told you
yesterday,
that.
yes. Yeah,
And on,
and
on
we
Monday,
had the class on Monday, right?
yeah, we cover the pending class.
Yeah, so we're even,
Yeah.
and I guess we meet again on Monday. Would that be
On Monday,
okay?
teacher. Yes, teacher. If you wish at 8:30, it's okay.
Eight
No,
thirty is okay. Okay, thank
no
you.
worries.
Yeah, that way I
Yeah,
can
I
go to
know.
bed a little bit later. Although I should go to bed earlier, but okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay, Mickey.
Thank you, teacher.
Take care. See you on Monday, and
On
say hello
Monday.
to the family. Right?
You too, teacher. Thank you for your time. Take care and have an
You,
excellent weekend.
you too, Mickey.